Hi guys, and welcome back to Twisted Locker, your definitive horror podcast. Today we're going to be doing another brand new review. We've got Colin and Cameron Cairness, if that's how you pronounce it. Brand new horror film, Late Night with the Devil. What are your thoughts on this one, Jenks?
I really like this film. It reminded me a lot of this thing came out in Britain about 95 called Ghost Watch, where it was
Yeah.
like a pretend live sort of footage of this like family supposed to be possessed, or this little girl supposed to be possessed, and it genuinely frightened the audience because people thought it was a real show. It had Michael Parkinson in it. It had Craig Charles from Red Dwarf, and you had a woman called Sarah Green, and it was kind of based on the Enfield story that The Conjuring 2 was based on. And this film, this Late Night with the Devil, was set in the 1970s. Oh, was this 1977? Is it, or earlier? In the 70s, anyway. And it was a show called Night Owl, and it's presented by a man called Jack Delroy, played by David Dastmalchian.
Well done,
Dastmalchian,
Jenks.
yeah, something like that. It's very hard to
I
say.
weren't going to attempt it.
Uh, and that Dastmalchian, sorry, Dastmalchian,
That's Martian, yeah.
and
I'll take
uh,
your word for it.
it's like he's like a wannabe Johnny Carson, where it's like a variety show where he's got his skinny little mic and he's interviewing guests, and he's got a live band on there, very much like the modern sort of talk shows, like Jimmy Kimmel and Jonathan Ross, that sort of thing. And uh, he's struggling with ratings. His wife's just died, and he's just desperate to get these ratings up. And there's a Halloween special. She brings on a psychic. He brings on a skeptic who disproves sort of psychic phenomena, and he brings on this girl called Lily, who's apparently possessed by the devil, and that she calls, or a demon that she calls Mr. Wriggles. Um, so the main story is about her, this little girl, and what I love about this film is it's so authentically 70s. Not just the deco, and you've got you're better with aspects. The small aspect ratio
The
for
aspect
TV.
ratio, like, yeah.
Yeah, so it hasn't got widescreen. Even in the cinema, it was small, which was fine. I loved it. And it wasn't just the look of the 70s sort of the background. It was just the kind of humor he was using. You know, that lame talk show humor, but it was what they used. The level was the 70s. You know, it was like cheesy humor when he was cutting into different segments. And I wouldn't say I was scared at all, but and I could see why some people wouldn't like it. And it's probably something you'd be it doesn't really need to be seen in the cinema, but
Mm.
I really, really enjoyed it. And it was one of those films where I enjoyed it more the more I thought about it afterwards. Because once Lily, this little girl, comes on, she used to be a part of a cult, or she was raised in a cult, and she was taken away. And I'm a big fan of cults, and there's something about 70s horror, 70s cults. And this film really encapsulated that so well. It was so authentic. And David David Das Malchin. Chin. Oh, Jesus. He's got a really hard name, Italian name. He is absolutely brilliant. He is so articulate. He's so authentic, and he's been in a few films. He was in Batman, one
Loads
of
of
the
stuff,
Batman
yeah.
films, and he was in
Suicide
Ant
Squad, Prisoners,
Ant-Man
Oppenheimer.
as well. Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Um, he's so good and authentic as the TV host, and he's genuinely feeling got carrying this like weight of his dead wife. And but when things when the shit hits the fan, it is really really good. And I'm a big fan of this film. What do you think, Kurt?
Right, let's get into it then. So I have been looking forward to this film. I can't even remember for how long. I remember everybody raving about it when it did the film circuit. The only thing I had was a synopsis. There was no posters or trailers
Yeah.
or nothing. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Late Night with the Devil becomes a big enough hit to have a cinema release, and then everyone's talking about it, and it's getting all these great reviews. And my anticipation for this film honestly was through the roof. Probably one of my most anticipated movies of this year.
yeah,
Ah, no, like everything you've said, Jenks, is spot on. The 70s aesthetic and the whole feel of the movie is amazing. Yeah, I can't take anything away from that. And everybody has their place in this, and
yeah,
the whole going backstage and then all the stuff that's going on. It's just flawless in that sense. Um, but I was very disappointed coming out of this one.
yeah,
I think with what you said, like I said, it's spot on. But I expected so much more from this film, and I just don't feel like it delivered what I was expecting it to. I know it's down to me having my expectations too high,
yeah.
but I got a little bit bored. Which I feel if I didn't go to cinema to watch it and it was just a film on Shudder I put on, I would have loved it. Yeah, like you said, Jenks, with obviously sleeping on it, the more I thought about it, the more I enjoyed it. Like I woke
Yeah,
up the next day and I was still thinking about it. Now, what the film does do really well is it does get under your skin, and the whole build up and everything that builds up to that big finale at the end is flawless. I was just a bit bored watching it, and it just wasn't that scary. I'm not the type of person that disowns a film if it didn't personally scare me,
yeah.
but I just feel like with the build up and the delivery that they had, it just didn't go side by side. I just don't feel like the end was big enough for me. Like you've got hour and a half of basically nothing. I don't want to go into too much detail
Yeah,
about what happens at the end. Um, the ending happened, and then I was just a bit.
yeah.
And the other thing that bothered me the most, right, is the biggest aspect of it is we're watching an actual episode. So this was filmed on stage, and we're watching that episode that was aired. But there's a bit where it takes you out of that setting when you're not watching an episode anymore. So
I
I
know what you're saying. Yeah,
yeah,
you say yeah, yeah. So yeah, without giving any spoilers away, yes, you yes, I know exactly what you mean, and I think if I say
yeah.
it, it'll give it away.
But do you know
I would
what?
say yeah,
Sorry, one thing. When I was thinking about it, I was like, right, it makes sense because of something else that happened. Again, no spoilers. But it was still, even if someone comes on you and says this is why it happened or that's how it happened,
yeah,
it still takes you out of the film. We're supposed to be watching this movie,
yeah.
this episode, but it kind of takes you out of it, and I just feel like they didn't need that scene, like
I know what you're saying. I really liked it. When there was a couple of ghost moments where the electricity was. I'm not a big fan of seeing electricity in horrors. It's a bit,
yeah, yeah,
but it worked in this because it was the 70s. It had that sort of vibe to it. Um, but again, I don't want to give any spoilers because most of the great bits start towards the end. But I would say that it's not something like I said. It's on Shudder now. I think on the 19th of April. I think I could be wrong, and I'd highly recommend watching it on Shudder because when I was watching, I was thinking, well, I'm watching it for this review, but this is a film you can watch on your TV, and
yeah, absolutely.
I think like you said I think there's more expectation for it to be bigger on the cinema, than the small
Yeah, of
screen. But
course, of
yeah,
course.
but yeah, I love this film. I'd highly recommend it if you like horror. It's not that scary, but it's enjoyable. So I give it a big fat 4 stars. What about you, Kurt?
I'm going with a 3 stars for now. I feel like it's a film that can, in time, be rated higher for myself. I am going to jump on this movie as soon as it comes on Shudder. I'll be
Yeah,
watching it day one, and I guarantee you I'll enjoy it more. Like I said, I woke up the next day and I was still thinking about it. It did get under my skin, but for what I thought it was going to be and the hype it's got, I was let down. So it's a three
yeah,
for now, and that's all I can give it.
yeah. Cool. Fair enough.
There we are, then, guys. Catch you on the next one.
Cheers.